Hey everybody, this is Bradley Benner with Lead Gadget and the ATM. This is July 7th, 2016, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Looks like we have some questions already, which is great. I appreciate the questions. I'm going to go ahead and grab the screen, pop over to the event page, and we'll get right into it. So bear with me one second. I'm excited about the updates that are coming out with the new interface and everything that should be rolled out over the next couple days. We've been kind of waiting on that for a while. So we're going to talk about that briefly as well. All right. You guys should be seeing my screen. We've got several questions. We're going to start right at the bottom, work our way up, and then we'll wrap it up once questions are done. So anybody that is attending, if you have any questions, go ahead and post them now because we're going to roll through these rather quickly. And when I get to the top, if there's no other questions, we're going to wrap it up for the day. So AJ says, Bradley, do you recommend using Bitly or another redirect link tool as a layer of protection against Google algorithm and updates? And if an ATM site has both overlayer and zero bounce activated, do you use a Bitly or redirect in both of those plugins? AJ, I just use, I do use a redirect plugin, but it's just so that if I'm redirecting to anything, that it's redirecting from the same domain as with which the site is built on. So like I use PrettyLink. There's a free version called PrettyLink Lite, but then there's PrettyLink Pro, which is, you know, I've got the upgrade because I use it all the damn time. So and you can do some other cool stuff with it, but that's all I do. So in other words, if I'm using, like, for example, if I'm going to be doing an affiliate offer or something, then the affiliate, if I'm linking directly from the site, then I'm going to use a redirect URL from my own domain. Okay. But most of the time I don't do that anymore because I just use the overlayer, or what's called the layer beta now, because we're not using the overlayer plugin anymore, or you shouldn't be anyways. So in that case, what I do is I have a separate domain set up that I use specifically for building landing pages, and I use that because I have that domain set to no index, and it's and so I build all of my landing pages on the same domain, and then I use that landing page URL on as the overlay. You know, whenever I'm using the overlayer plugin, or the the layer beta plugin for that matter. And so, because I don't care that that site's already set to no index anyways. I don't care about the landing page being indexed. In fact, I really don't even want it to be indexed, but I'm just going to use it to lay on top of the ATM sites. And if that's the case, you don't need a redirect URL because it's just, you're using the overlay. Okay. But I recommend that you build your landing pages on a separate domain, and you set that domain to no index. And you can do that within WordPress. Go to settings, reading, and then check the box that says ask search engines not to index this site. Okay, so that's one way you can do it. For zero bounce, no, I don't use a redirect for zero bounce unless you're redirecting to some other location, right? And if that's the case, yeah, you can use a redirect link there. But the way that I don't do that, with the way that I do it with zero bounce, is I use zero bounce to do just as it says what the title is, and that's to reduce bounce rate. And so what I do is I just take the homepage URL of the actual ATM site and put that in as the redirect, or excuse me, the in the zero bounce plugin settings, so that when anybody clicks the back button, all it does is redirect them to the homepage of the site. And remember, I'm always using an overlay, so all it does is basically, when they hit the back button, is it redirects to the home page. But because it's the overlay, all it does basically is refresh the page, and they stay on the site. Okay, I don't ever direct the traffic off the site. I don't do any Amazon things. I know that's what people I think were using it for, but I typically just, when somebody clicks the back button, it's just going to redirect them back to the home page of that same site. And since the overlay is activated, they're just going to see the same landing page. It's not going to change in their browser at all. Okay. Excuse me. And for that, you don't need a redirect URL. You can just use the, if you're just redirecting, when somebody clicks the back button, if they're going to land on the same site, you do not need to do a redirect URL. So you don't need a Bitly link. You don't need a redirect or a PrettyLink or anything like that. Okay. You can just use the standard domain. Now, if you're going to redirect somewhere else, then I would recommend that you just use the same domain. So use a redirect plugin like PrettyLink. I mean, that's just an example. There's a lot of redirect plugins out there, but that's the one that I use. Okay. Ray says, when rebuilding a de-index site, do you just deploy the same content tags with the same title on a new domain subdomain, or do you make some changes before deployment? If the site was performing well, like if it was fully indexed with the content before it got de-indexed, then yes, I would just rebuild with the exact same content. There's no sense in spending time modifying content that was performing well before. So no, I just would delete the site, and then I would recycle the content and add it to a new domain, assign it to a new domain, and then click the deploy button. And that's a very, very quick and efficient way to redeploy a site. If the site wasn't performing all that well, then yeah, I might modify the content. Like if it wasn't indexed fully, and you know, a lot of, I'm not doing XYZ domains anymore, not since the great de-indexing that occurred at the beginning of June. But a lot of the times those .xyz domains would index incredibly slow. So if 4 or 5 weeks went by and the site was only a few thousand pages indexed, and instead of, you know, like 30,000 plus pages indexed, if it was only a couple thousand or whatever, then I would probably not just recycle that content because it wasn't indexing well. However, that could have been because it was on an XYZ domain. If that same content were on a .com, .net, or .org, it may have indexed a lot quicker. So it's kind of hard to tell. But, you know, as far as we had 689 sites lost, and so we're rebuilding and we're just recycling the content onto new domains, okay? Because we just like, it's just, we had already put so much damn work in, and we're just trying to rebuild our portfolio as quickly as we can. So hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, there's no, if you've got content that was decent, there's no reason to make changes to it. It's on a new domain. It's going to be treated as new altogether, okay? AJ says, during several of your recent training sessions, you mentioned that you were developing a product that would be ATM specific for outsourcing. Is Outsource Kingpin that product? No, AJ. If Outsource Kingpin were that product, then it would say so on the sales page, okay? We've had some other people from the Lead Gadget crew, because Dawn mailed out about it and also reposted one of my Facebook posts in the Lead Gadget Facebook group when I announced Outsource Kingpin launch. It has completely unrelated, guys. Completely unrelated. You can use Outsource Kingpin to set up your to hire and train and manage your own virtual assistants, but you have to provide them the training for building ATM sites. That's not what this product is. This product teaches you how to go out and find and screen and hire virtual assistants in about a 90% automated way, and then how to train them and manage them, and then how to scale and build an actual organization. But there's not specific content in there for ATM building, guys. If there were, it would have been clearly stated on the sales page, okay? So when we had some people already in the Lead Gadget group purchase it and then send me emails saying that they thought that it was going to be specific to the ATM, and that they want me to send them the working procedures for building ATM sites. Well, I'm sorry, that's not what this product is. And it said nowhere on the sales page that it was a Lead Gadget or ATM product. Okay, it's completely separate. You can use the principles and the methods taught within the course to build your own virtual assistant team. Okay, and that's what the product is about. It's like teach a man to fish, or give the man a fish he eats for a day, teach the man to fish he eats for a lifetime, right? That's what this is about. Outsource Kingpin is about showing you how to fish, showing you how to outsource so you can build your own team for any task. You can outsource any task in your business once you know how to do it correctly, and to produce the working procedures, the training documents, have the infrastructure set up. And that's what Outsource Kingpin is about. Okay. So trust me, guys, when the ATM training outsourcer training product is available, you guys will know, and it will be clearly identifiable as such. Okay. So anybody that wants to get a jump, start building their own team, which I recommend all of you do, Outsource Kingpin will show you how to do it. And that's from a method that I have refined over the last 2.5, almost 3 years. And I've got, we got 26 full-time virtual assistants and 4 part-time virtual assistants. So a team of 30, and that the methods taught in Outsource Kingpin are exact same methods that we use in our business. Okay. So check it out if you want. Otherwise, just wait until the ATM training comes out, which again will be clearly identified as that. and you guys can get access to that. Part of the reason that is not done yet is because all the updates that are the entire interface is going to be completely different. Maybe within the next couple days. And if I were to have produced an entire training program already, then when the new update comes out, I would have had to reproduce the whole damn thing. So it's been on postpone. It's been postponed or held off until the new interface comes out, because I am not going to produce the same product twice just because the interface changed. Okay. It's an enormous task creating a outsourcer training program to build ATM sites. It's and also for to build a team, to hire and train a team leader or project manager. It's incredibly it's a lot of work to do that. And so I'm going to wait until the new updates are out before producing that. You guys will be aware of it. Trust me. Okay. Excuse me. Ray says, how do you get content for these sites? Do you copy e-zine articles? Well, I had been, Ray, but not anymore, because I think that was a contributing factor to being de-indexed. I think there was a number of reasons why there was a huge de-indexing. But one of them I totally feel is because everybody is using e-zine articles, and most people are just going and typing in their keyword, and then an article that's on the top of the first page, or maybe some people go back to page 2 and copy an article, and then they put it through Spin Rewriter or whatever spinner they're using, and then paste it on their sites. And if people are building like we do, they're building 15, 20, 30 sites per keyword, basically, or per niche, targeting multiple keywords. So they end up using the same article across multiple sites. And think about all the other people that are building with mass page builders, such as the ATM or SERP Shaker or Mass Page Generator, or any number of the other copycat software or application programs out there that build mass pages. Most everybody is going to the same source for content. And so these articles are literally being used hundreds of thousands, if not more, times. And so I think that was one of the contributing factors to being de-indexed. So we are no longer using e-zine articles at all. I mentioned this last week, Ray. If you have not, some of your questions here are the next two questions, this one and the one that you put here next, have already been answered. In fact, we went over these last week. So if you go back and watch last week's replay, I will briefly touch on them here again. Okay. As far as articles, I am doing two things right now. One is I'm using blog search engine. I think it's called, if you just go to Google and type in blog search engine, it might even be blogsearchengine.com, blogsearchengine.org right here. And then here's another one. I haven't even tried this one, .com. I've been using my ATM building team is using .org. Yeah, I don't think that one's as good. So blogsearchengine.org, and we go put our search term in there, and then we click search, and they go through and find some articles from there. It takes a little bit more work to find a good article to use, but I can pretty much guarantee you it's not used as much as the e-zine articles are. Okay. Then the other thing that I'm testing is something called, let me pull it up, Article Forge. The same people that made Word AI, which is it's a high-end spinner. It's expensive, but are behind Article Forge. And this is a really cool service that it will generate articles based on keywords and spin them and everything. So it's really cool. And I haven't actually, my team hasn't started using this yet because I haven't had time to send them a training. I haven't had time to record a training video for them to show them how to use this application. So my team is right now just using Blog Search Engine. But probably this weekend I will end up creating a training video for this. I just signed up for this about 2 weeks ago. And I've used it myself. I've tested it a couple times, but I haven't created training. But we're going to start probably creating the content for our ATM sites using Article Forge, because it's almost guaranteed to be 100% unique. In fact, you can connect Article Forge to a oh shit, what's the name of that? Copyscape. You can connect it if you have through the Copyscape API, and it will actually check the uniqueness of it before whatever article it outputs. It will check the uniqueness of it, and so you can see that it is indeed unique before using it. Okay. Again, I haven't actually started using these on ATM sites just yet, but I've played with it and I've produced a few articles, and they come out really, really well for it being an automated system. And it's just adding, if you guys want to see the inside, I'll show you real quick. Let me just show you what it looks like. I've only produced a couple articles, but all right. So if we say new article, click over here, you put your keyword in. Let's just say, I don't know, we'll say walk in bathtubs. Something like that. And you can put sub keywords in here if you have them. You know, that helps if you want to get a little bit more specific. So in other words, if your keyword up here is a bit more general, which I recommend that it be, then down here you would put sub keywords. So like you know, you could even say something like, you know, bathtubs, for example. And then you could put in like walk-in bathtubs. And then you could do like walk-in tubs. That's a variation of it, right? So you could put some stuff in like that. And then here's the money site filler. Like you can see that this is your content needs most readable, tier 1, or so most readable or most variations. So this is like basically the level of spin that you put on it. So I usually just stick with tier 1 content. Tier 2 content would be like for, let me make sure you guys are seeing my screen. I certainly hope you are. Yeah, you are. Okay. Tier 2 content would be for like link building, which, you know, we certainly don't recommend you do any link building to ATM sites, but that would be for like using for like spam tools and stuff like that. Okay. So I just stick with tier 1 or most readable. It's either one of those. Okay. And then you'd go ahead and just, you can have it, you can select the length. So 500 or 750 words. You can actually have it add titles and headings, images and videos, that kind of stuff. I don't have I won't be having my team do that because my team generates their own list of video URLs. And we're not really using images at all. All we're doing is content and videos right now. Okay. And then you can click create new article, and it takes a few minutes for it to go run through its process, but that's it. This is all you fill out. And once it's done, it spits out an article, and also an article in Spintax. So you have both the single output of the article plus a spun version of it that you can copy and paste right into the ATM build. Okay. So that's what, once I actually have put this into use with the ATM team, with my builders, once we start using this to generate the content, I'll let you guys know how it goes. Haven't started using it just yet because I just signed up for it. Okay. It's called Article Forge. Go check it out. All right. Next, do you spin the article or use it without spinning? I absolutely spin it. Absolutely. They're always spun. Also, do you use the same content for more than one site? Yes. I tell my team not to use the same piece of content for more than 5 sites, but they can use it up to 5 sites, provided that the main keyword for each site that we're building is closely related or fits well for that content, if that makes sense. So, but yeah, we usually don't use a piece of content for more than 5 sites. Okay. But yeah, we absolutely, I mean, think about it, guys. When we target a niche, we generally build between 15 to 30 sites per niche. And so, we're definitely going to use new content, but if we had to generate 15 to 30 pieces of separate content, that's a lot. That's a lot of the time, right there. Okay. And so in order to be efficient, we'll generate, like if we're doing, 20 sites, at the bare minimum, we'll generate 4 pieces of content. Okay. But sometimes more. And I leave that up to the builders to determine if it's related enough or not. Like if the same article can be used across multiple sites, it's only because those sites are, the keyword is closely related to what the content is about. AJ says, Bradley, you mentioned 4 or 5 weeks ago that there was a 3-week boot camp starting on June 21st. Do you know when or if it will be rescheduled? I don't know, AJ. I'm sure it will be. I don't know when though. The reason it got postponed is because the updated interface. Once again, we do not want to have this 3-week boot camp thing that we had planned on doing, and then turn around in a couple days or a couple weeks later, the whole interface changes, and then everybody submits support tickets saying that the training doesn't apply because of we need to redo it because of the new interface. So Brian actually postponed it. I'm not sure. You can ask Brian in the Facebook group if when it's going to be rescheduled. I'm sure it will be at some point, but it's most likely going to be after the updates have been pushed through. Okay. Ray says, please recommend a good link indexing service. do you submit all the links to indexing service or just a few links and then wait for Google to index the full site? Ray, we talked about this again last week. I went over this, and I've talked about this several times. I will touch on it very briefly here, but this is the tool that I use for ATM sites. It's called Express Indexer. It's under Express Indexer Solutions. I'll post this on the event page. It's the only indexing solution I could find that has reasonable rates when you get to such high volume. He shows packages here, but if you want a custom package, which I don't know how aggressive you are with building, but right now we're at 10 million links per month is our indexing package. And we still run out before 30 days is up, before our credits renew. We started off at 5 million links a month, then we went to 7, now we're at 10, and we're still running out. So, and yes, we submit all posts. What I do is I have my VAs, once the site has been deployed and they do the cleanup, is I have them go generate all the site maps. Okay, so it ends up usually being 9 site maps because it's 7 post site maps. If they're split up, if you're using the Better WordPress Site Maps plugin, which comes in, it's default installed in the ATM sites, then if you leave the settings to default, when you generate the site maps, if you're doing a national build using the national custom list, then you're going to end up with 7 post URL site maps. And then I use one for the categories, and then there's one site map for the tags. And I leave the categories and the tags as well as part of the site map. That's kind of custom settings. I customize those settings in the BWP Site Maps plugin so that's what we end up with. So we end up with 9 site maps, and then they open up each one of those site maps in a separate tab. So they have 9 tabs open. Then they copy all the URLs, paste them into an Excel file. And the reason why is because, and I've covered this, by the way, this has already been covered, but we'll talk about it again. We paste it into an Excel file because they're basically tab separated or tab delimited when you copy them out of the sitemap pages. And so then column A will be all of the URLs from the sitemaps. So we end up with like 35,000 and 35,200 and something total URLs for each site. And so we copy column A out of the Excel file after we pasted everything in there, and we paste it into a text file, a notepad file. And then we save that. And then the Express Indexer has a desktop submitter software. It's a very, very, very simple tool. All it has is 2 text fields. One is an input for your API key, and the other one is actually a browse button that you click, and it will ask you to navigate to a text file. It's a Windows Explorer browse button. So when you click on it, it will ask you, it'll pull up a Windows Explorer window, and then you can go navigate to where that text file is. You select it, and then you click submit, and it will pull the URLs out of the text file and submit it to the indexing service. Okay, and so yes, we're doing all 35,000 URLs per site, and we index them, send them to the indexer right after deployment and cleanup. Okay, so that's how we're doing it. And it's the only, like I said, it's the only service I could find that would give me the volume that we need for a reasonable rate. I think I'm paying like $230 a month or something like that for 10 million links to be indexed per month, 10 million credits per month. Okay. All right. Carlos says, morning, Bradley. Morning, Carlos. He says, truth or myth, images on Amazon S3 can leave a footprint. I think they might. We're not even using them now. Like I said, we're just using YouTube videos now. So it's just straight text and YouTube videos and in the Google Map. So I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. I'm not gonna tell you for sure either way, Carlos, because I really don't know. I think it could leave a footprint, because if all images on the entire site are basically URLs from a specific bucket or whatever, and you've got a 30,000 post site, it looks like it was automated instead of manually added images, if that makes sense. So, it could be an issue. I don't know 100% for sure, though. I can't really tell. I can't say one way or the other for sure. All-in-one SEO, what settings do you recommend? Well, I can look for I can look for the document, the process document that I've shared before with you guys for ATM builders when I first started training virtual assistants to build ATM sites. I can share that with you because I've got to find the version that has my um, API keys or whatever license keys for plugins and stuff removed. I whitewashed a version of it so that I could share it with you guys. I'll find that and I'll post that on here once we're done. And you can take a look at that because in the all-in-one SEO settings are how the settings that I choose are in that process document. Okay, so instead of me trying to answer right now, I'll just share that document here in just a minute. It's the ATM build process. The one that I'm going to share with you guys was from several months ago. The process, our working procedures, so our process documents or SOP, standard operating procedures, I like to call them working procedures. That's how I train my virtual assistants, is I create working procedures. Well, those are living documents. In other words, they are constantly evolving and being updated as we find ways to make processes more efficient or to eliminate steps altogether or combine steps, whatever it is. Obviously, some certain things change, like the interface or plugin updates sometimes cause things to change. So the process document gets updated in real time as our processes evolve. So the one that I'm going to share with you was from when I first started training the virtual assistants. Just what I'm saying is you can use that as a model to make your own process documents, which I highly recommend that you do. In fact, that's what the Outsource Kingpin training is all about. It's about creating processes in your business. And so you'll get an idea of what that looks like. But I would recommend, Carlos, that you just look specifically at the all-in-one SEO settings because, like I said, the rest of the document has been updated since then. I'll share that with you again once I finish this webinar. Okay, I'll go locate it, paste it here. WP Layer Beta is the new update. The new update is live. As far as I know, WP Layer Beta is live in the sites. I'm not sure what you mean is the new update is live. Is there a new updated version of the same plugin? I'm not sure. We are using WP Layer Beta instead of Overlayer now, the WP Overlayer. And my team is using the Layer Beta plugin, yes. So it's pre-installed on the sites when you deploy them now, and we just activate that, and it's the exact same functionality as the WP Overlayer. But Don says that he thinks that was also a contributing factor to the big mass de-indexing. So I recommend that you don't use a WP Overlayer, use WP Layer Beta. That's what we're using. Now, if there was another update to that specific plugin, I'm not sure. You'd have to ask Don. Don's the programmer, the coder. So he has answers to those kind of questions. I don't. So, in fact, you guys probably end up knowing before I do when this stuff is done, only because I have a limited amount of time that I can work on these projects. That's why I have built a team to do it for me. Okay. Lastly, Viper's Video Quick Tags plugin doesn't work anymore. Newer old sites. What other plugin are you using? I'm not sure what you mean, Carlos. I actually, when I saw you had posted that, I asked one of my ATM builders right here. Hey team, and this was 7:30 a.m. this morning. Hey team, is the Viper's Video Quick Tags plugin still working? Harvey, one of my builders, said yes, Brad. So as far as I know, it's still working. So I'm not sure what problem you're having, Carlos, but all our sites are still using them. Okay. And my team, if it wasn't working, they would have told me, because they're deploying. I've got 2 builders, and I've got a team leader now. She doesn't build anything though, but the 2 builders do, and they're building roughly 15 sites per day, each one of them. So we're building about 30 sites per day, and we use the Viper's Video Quick Tags on every single build. So I'm not sure why you're having issues with that, but as far as I know, it's still working. And one of my builders just said that it was. So. Okay, guys, if you have any other questions, post them. I'm going to go ahead and pause the screen for a minute and see if, while I wait to see if you guys have any other questions, I'm going to drop this screen share for a minute and see if I can locate that process document for you and make sure that it's clean. What the hell just happened here? Shit. Sorry, guys. Give me a second. I'm looking for it. I'm still here, guys. Just bear with me. I'm looking for the process document that I shared with you guys before. ATM process outline. I got it. Make sure it's clean. Okay. Yeah, it looks like I can share this with you. All right. Just remember, like I said, guys, in this process document, it has been updated since this was produced or published. This is not the same one that my team has, because this is the one that I can share with you guys. So, but this is the exact same way that I create process documents for everything in my business. And let me show you what this looks like. Okay. Where'd it go? Right here. Okay, so this is it here. I'm going to paste this URL, but this is the overview and in the site build process. And if we scroll down, we can see content. Just a minute. Site cleanup process down at the bottom. We start scrolling down, and we're going to get to the all-in-one. Here's the Zero Bounce Pro, the other plugins that I install. Oh, and you know what? I don't think that I have any all-in-one SEO settings in this one. I don't. Okay, well, Carlos, if I get time, I'll try to create. I'll try to go locate my process document that has the all-in-one SEO settings in it. I don't change much. I only change a couple things. I add a token to the categories field for the category page title. So I add some tokens into there, and I'll try to, if I can find it, I'll submit it on the page. I'll tag you on it too, so that you or in the Facebook group or something, so that you have it. I don't know when I'm going to get to that though, but I'll share this with you guys anyways. You can look at this, but this does not have the all-in-one SEO settings. I don't change much, again, because it slows the build process down. But there are a couple settings that I do. If I remember, I'll get to it. Okay. So here is the process outline. And just make sure that it was everybody. I think it was. Yep. Okay. All right. Y'all can take a look at that. All right. And I'll try to get that something to you when I can, Carlos. Again, I don't know how soon I'll get to it, but I'll try to. All right. Okay, guys. Looks like there's no other questions. So I appreciate you all being here and asking some questions. I do appreciate it when you guys do that. So if you have any other questions, just post them on the events page for next week. And I'll get to them then. As soon as I get the event page posted, you guys will know, because I always post an event in Facebook as well. And then you can just click on the location URL. It will take you to the Google Plus event page where you can post your questions. All right. Thanks. I'll see you guys next week.